Now there are many incredible reptiles within our hobby. They come in many shapes, colors, and sizes. Some are arboreal, some are terrestrial, some stick on the surfaces of glass, and others spend a large majority of their time in the water. There's honestly a reptile out there for everybody, but some of these species we probably just shouldn't keep at all. Maybe we lack the room for them in our houses, or we lack the knowledge and overall experience of reptile keeping. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about the top 5 reptiles that we just shouldn't be keeping. This is J&A Exotics. Stay tuned. Now coming in at number 5 today, it's going to be a hot take, but I do have my reasons. Many of you just might not agree with me at all, and that's completely fine. But number 5 on today's list is going to be the bearded dragon. Now, why shouldn't you own a bearded dragon? Most of them are docile in nature, they tolerate handling very well, they are a beginner species to own. Well, when you think of the most rehomed pet reptile out there, what is it? What do you think of? One of the most rehomed pet reptiles in our hobby are bearded dragons. The reasons for this, as I just kind of touched base on, they are labeled as a beginner reptile. They're generally inexpensive and stores always have them on sale. And a large majority of the time, they are simply just an impulse buy. Now, bearded dragons aren't the most difficult species to own, but I think because they are labeled as a beginner species, many people underestimate their care needs. Now, by the time a bearded dragon hits around a year or 2 years of age, most people lose interest of them, and then they finally realize, okay, this is a bit much and I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So they drive on to the pet store, dump it off, say this is your problem now, and just forget about it. Now, because people impulse buy bearded dragons, and honestly a lot of the time people just have no clue what they are doing when caring for them, while some bearded dragons do come in healthy, a large majority of these bearded dragons that get rehomed are going to be coming in with health issues. Just to name a few of the common health issues that they come in with stuck shed, missing toes, respiratory issues, metabolic bone disease, and they're malnourished. Now, a large majority of impulse buyers either don't completely understand or don't understand bearded dragon dietary needs at all. These bearded dragons are fed malnourished feeders or just things that lack nutritional value overall, like iceberg lettuce. Now, some of the bearded dragons that come in are also overweight. People don't realize that their diets change as the bearded dragon gets older, so they'll keep them on an insect-based diet through their entire lives. Now, seeing bearded dragons with deformities in their bone structures is not uncommon either when they're rehomed. A lot of these people that impulse buy, again, they use cheap coil UVB bulbs. Sometimes they're not even using UVB at all, and they also don't supply the proper supplements for their bearded dragon. Now, coming in slow and steady, at number 4 on today's list is going to be Sulcata tortoises. Now, what's there not to love about Sulcata tortoises, right? I mean, they have long lifespans. You can have them roam around your house. They eat fruits and vegetables, which are readily available. Well, there's a strong chance that Sulcata tortoise is going to outlive you. Now, let's just say you own a Sulcata tortoise, and for the sake of the video, this is the healthiest tortoise out there. You take care of it every day. There's zero health issues. Well, a healthy Sulcata tortoise on average can live 50 to 100 years. And honestly, this thing's probably going to outlive you. Now, unfortunately for Sulcata tortoises, due to their long lifespans, this is one of the reasons why they are commonly rehomed. Now, let's just say you don't rehome your Sulcata tortoise. This thing outlives you. You end up passing on. Now, this is going to be somebody else's problem. Now, another reason why I think we just shouldn't own Sulcata tortoises is these things get absolutely massive. They have the potential to reach 32 inches, and they can be over 120 pounds. This is like having a giant pet rock inside of your house, and these tortoises pack some power. They are strong. If you try to contain your tortoise to just one room and you're using a baby gate, there's a strong possibility that they just push the baby gate down. They can push chairs, they can push tables, they can even damage your walls. They can bump holes into your drywall. Now, I just mentioned them putting holes in drywall. Even though Sulcata tortoises don't mean it, they have a reputation for being destructive. Again, they will literally bulldoze everything in the house. Now, if you live in a climate that can sustain these animals outdoors with their care needs, that's great, but a large majority of us don't. I live in New England, and the weather is always unpredictable, and we have really harsh winters, so maybe if you're lucky, your tortoise will be able to stay outside maybe 6 months out of the year, maybe. You would literally need to keep an entire room of your house dedicated to this tortoise, and honestly, you're probably going to have it on its own heating zone. That way it could stay the proper heat and humidity levels that this tortoise requires. Now, Sulcata tortoises eat a lot, and what's constantly going in is constantly going to be coming out. these tortoises also poop a lot. So with this tortoise roaming around your house or a dedicated room, you are constantly going to have to be cleaning up tortoise poop. Now in many cases, a lot of these sulcata tortoises come into animal shelters or pet stores neglected. These tortoises are usually stressed out, and a common issue with them are their shells being deformed. Their shells become deformed from improper diet, improper environmental conditions, and inadequate exercise. Again, this is just my opinion. Unless you have a facility, just leave the sulcata tortoises for the zoos. Now diving in at number 3 on today's list, even though I love this species with a passion, it's going to be Chinese water dragons. Now Chinese water dragons are number 3 on today's list because even though they are readily available and they're super inexpensive at reptile expos, you can find them for like $35 give or take, a lot of people out there do not keep them in proper setups. Now Chinese water dragons are arboreal. They can be found high up in the canopy treetops, or they can be hanging out in tree limbs right above water. They are also amazing powerful swimmers, and they love to swim and soak in the water often. Now even though a large majority of their body length is going to be their tail, they can still reach up to 3 feet in length. Now they love to climb. They require a water feature within their enclosure, and they're 3 feet in length. Think about it, their enclosure size is going to have to be massive. Now when keeping Chinese water dragons, you're going to have to sacrifice a huge portion of your home just for their enclosure. You need to provide enrichment, you need to mimic their natural environments, they require room to climb, a land feature, and a water feature within their enclosure. Now unfortunately, when you look online, there's more improper setups for Chinese water dragons than there are proper ones. Some people try cramming in Chinese water dragons, and these smaller enclosures, sometimes a glass enclosure like the one behind me, and it just doesn't work out well. While this enclosure is still 3 feet by 18 inches by 3 feet, it is far too small for a Chinese water dragon. Water dragons don't understand the concept of glass, they don't understand that it is a solid object, and they will be trying to constantly escape their enclosure, rubbing their face on the glass until their face becomes raw. In severe cases, they'll rub their face down to the bone. This is called nose rub, and if it goes on too far or it gets infected, it can then lead to mouth rot, will eventually lead to the end of your Chinese water dragon. Juvenile Chinese water dragons are also super prone to eye infections. A large majority of the time, it's because they're clumsy, and it happens because they'll get substrate in their eye, they can't get it out, it becomes infected, and if it's not treated, it will also be the end of your Chinese water dragon. Now, Chinese water dragons are another species that you'll constantly see being rehomed. Now, for some reason, a large majority of Chinese water dragons in captivity are still being imported and wild caught. Taking too many Chinese water dragons out of the wild is decimating their wild populations, and it's changing their ecosystems. You'll know when they're wild caught right away because they just don't look good. They're really skinny and lethargic. They're loaded with parasites. It's just a recipe for disaster. Slithering in at number 2 on today's list is going to be Burmese pythons, and this might actually be the first time I'm talking about a snake on this channel. Now, for me personally, whenever I think of a Burmese python, the first thing that pops into my head is the issue going on right now in the Florida Everglades. Now, a lot of people buy these snakes with either lack of knowledge or lack of room for their enclosures. Maybe they lose interest, they dump them off in the wild because it's warm in Florida, contributing to the invasive species issue. Now let's just say for giggles, you release your Burmese python in the Florida Everglades, ends up reaching sexual maturity, it then finds a male Burmese python. That now pregnant female has the potential to lay up to 36 eggs. In some cases, they can lay far more eggs than that. They can lay up to 90 eggs. Those two snakes just created almost 100 new snakes in the wild. Now obviously all the baby Burmese pythons are not going to make it, but the ones that do make it are just going to multiply, and they're going to outcompete the native species there for food. Now these Burmese pythons in Florida too are outcompeting, as I mentioned, every species for food, and they can be absolutely massive, weighing well over 200 pounds. On top of their impressive weights, they can reach incredible lengths up to 20 feet long. Now with Burmese pythons reaching such impressive sizes in length and weight, and them being a constrictor species, they could easily, if they wanted to, overcome their keepers like that. A 20-foot long, 200-pound snake decides that you're its next meal, you're not going to be able to stop it. If you happen to be alone with that snake, and something like that happens, it's game over. You do not stand a chance. Now, Burmese pythons also have rear-facing teeth, and they are designed so when they bite and the animal is trying to pull away, it can't. It's essentially fish-hooked and they are trapped. Now, I cannot imagine a bite like that feeling any good, and honestly, I'm never going to find out. Now, coming in at number 1 on today's list is a species that literally looks like a dinosaur. It's going to be the Crocodile Monitor. Now, crocodile monitors look so much like dinosaurs that they actually use their face for the velociraptors in the first Jurassic Park. Now, this species is an absolute unit. They are massive and they can reach lengths past 8 feet in length. Now, even though crocodile monitors are slightly smaller than their cousins, the Asian water monitor, these guys are extremely powerful and they pack a nasty bite. They have flat serrated teeth that are literally designed to tear apart and rip up flesh. If they happen to catch your finger and you're not quick enough, they have the possibility to bite your finger off. If they bite your forearm, your leg, wherever they may bite you, you are definitely getting stitches. A bite from a crocodile monitor, you are not having a good day at all. And honestly, just stitches from a crocodile monitor's bite is the best case scenario. You better hope that they don't tear into any of your tendons or muscles, because it's going to be even more of a severe injury. Now, many of us average keepers in the reptile hobby, unless you own a facility like Brian Barczyk does, it's simply impossible to keep a species like this in the wild. These guys can be found 35 to 40 feet above the ground in the trees. How in the world are you going to simulate that in your home? They also love to swim and they are excellent swimmers, so they're going to require a large water feature within their enclosure as well. Now, this is just my opinion, but unless you have your very own facility or you are a zoo, you just shouldn't own crocodile monitors, period. So there you guys have it. That is my list on the top 5 reptiles that I think that we just shouldn't own as keepers. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed today's video, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell down below so you don't miss out on any new content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.